Okay. My name's Jordan. I'm talking about a historical technology. The one I chose was the penny press. It was a machine and an idea created by Benjamin Day in 1833, and the first newspaper made by him was The Sun. The penny press produced newspapers that were sold for 1 cent, which is why it was called the penny press, because you could buy them for a penny. And this made it available to everyone. Before the penny press was invented, newspapers would cost 6 cents per paper. So it wasn't available to everyone because a lot of people couldn't afford to pay 6 cents for a newspaper. So making it 1 cent made it the first newspaper that was available to the masses. I mean, everyone was able to afford it. It was replaced when companies started posting their paper online or posting their news articles online. Columbus Dispatch was the first news company to do so in about the 1980s, and many others followed, like the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, those kinds of other news sources. And this allowed companies to make more money off of subscriptions rather than advertisements, because with a physical newspaper, companies have to make their money off of the advertisements that are in the paper, but when they have an online version, they can create a subscription profile for people to make a subscription and pay for it that way. So they were able to make more money in different ways. The long-term effects of the penny press, since it was the first newspaper produced for the masses, it was cheap and it stayed that way. A lot of people now can access the newspaper very easily. This also started a really competitive market for journalism in America because a lot of journalists are now fighting to cover really interesting stories to put on the cover of the newspaper so people are interested in reading it. The characteristics of the penny press are still around in forms of profits off of advertisements. Like I said, physical newspaper has to make money off of advertisements because it's so cheap. Cheap paper is the next one. It's still fairly cheap today, to receive the newspaper. It's very widespread, so it's accessible to everyone. And that's stayed that way since it was invented. That's all.